Welcome. In this playthrough Marvel Champions the card game, we go on to our final scenario of the Sinister Motives campaign going up against VENOM GOBLIN. Down at the table, getting ready for VENOM GOBLIN. Using a device he completed during your slog through Oscorp, Norman Osborn finally twists the Venom symbiote to his will, binding with it. The triumvirate of terror takes to the skies of New York City, dropping symbiotic goo on unsuspecting citizens, attempting to create the army he was previously denied. So we've got VENOM GOBLIN 1 and 2. There's going to be 3 main schemes in this one. For the encounter deck, we have the VENOM GOBLIN set, Symbiotic Strength, Goblin Gear, and Standard sets. We're going to have a glider counter. So with the 3 main schemes in play at the start of the scenario, however, only one main scheme at a time will have the glider counter. They recommend an all-purpose counter. I want something a little bigger. So I'm going to use that. Then when threat would be placed on the main scheme by an enemy activation card ability or acceleration icon, place it on the scheme with the glider counter. Additionally, when an acceleration token would be placed on the main scheme, place it on the scheme with the glider token. Any encounter card that refers to the main scheme without a qualifier refers to the main scheme with the counter. Encounter cards that refer to the main scheme that best meet a certain criteria, such as the scheme with the least threat, refer to the scheme regardless of which main scheme has a counter on it. During step 1 of the villain phase, place threat on each main scheme according to its own acceleration value without reference to the acceleration values of other main schemes. Likewise, each acceleration token places additional threat only on the main scheme it is on. So basically, this thing's going to be jumping between 3 different places. Wherever it's at, that's the main scheme. For our setup, we've got Public Outcry. People aren't happy with all his Web Warriors. Already got the Smear campaign shuffled in the main deck. For the Sinister Assault, we're going to search that modular set for each minion with the same name as a villain's name recorded in the last one standings. We didn't have any because we defeated all the villains. And then follow all the setup instructions on this. So we've got our Osborn Tech in there. We're going to place an additional threat per player on the main scheme, which is going to be Midtown Manhattan. We're all going to get an extra minion out of the set. So I've gone ahead and picked out an Enraged Symbiote for both of our heroes. And then we're going to have to search the deck for a scenario-specific side scheme, reveal it, and place an additional threat per player on that. So we chose Festering Mass, so while there are no other symbiote environments in play, this card is considered one. And that's going to have 7 threat on it with the additional 2. And the good things that are happening are cards are going to be on the upgraded or enhanced side, and we get to go find our cards we put in our planning ahead section. So VENOM GOBLIN starts with a scheme of 2, attack of 2. Steady, infest the city, force response after he activates against you. Move the glider counter to the main scheme with the least threat. Choose to either place 2 threat on that scheme or resolve its special ability. 16 health per player. This is going over the contents for the set. For setup, put the lower Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, upper Manhattan main schemes into play. Place a glider counter on Midtown. Flip this card and set it aside. Basically, this is just going over some of the rules. Player cards that affect the main scheme can apply to any. Counter cards that affect the main scheme only apply to the scheme with the counter on it. And each main scheme accumulates threat each round according to its acceleration value. So our 3 main schemes. The special on this one, place a threat on each scheme. If a symbiote environment is in play, place an additional threat here. So that's coming in with 2. Max of 22 since we have 2 players. Midtown Manhattan is going to be the one considered a main scheme, so this is going to start with a 4, and then we're adding 2 because of the scenario. A special, take 2 indirect damage. If a symbiote environment's in play, take an additional indirect. That goes to 24. Then Upper Manhattan starts with 0. Special, discard a card from your hand. If a symbiote environment's in play, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. And then for our heroes, haven't changed anything on these. So Spider-Man, he's got 2 for thwart, attack, and defense. Got his Venom Blast, Spider Camouflage ability. Venom Blast, deal 2 damage to an enemy and stun the enemy. And the Camouflage, he gets tough and confuses an enemy. Hand size of 5, hit points of 9. Alter Ego side, recovery of 4. If you change to this form, shuffle a Spider-Man card from your discard pile into your deck. Hand size of 6. Got his laser goggles. Hopefully this time I'll remember he's got +2 attack. So he'll be attacking for 4 in this one. and her hero's basic attacks gain Overkill and Piercing. And Mariah Hill is our aspect card we've added in. So for Justice, we have 2 Power of Justice, Under Surveillance, 2 Spycraft, 2 Surveillance Teams, 2 Homeland Interventions, and then 3 for Justice. Then Monica Chang, Agent Coulson, Quake, Arrows, and Spider-Woman. Our chosen card we'll get to find is going to be Genius. We also have our other 2 resources. Then Mockingbird, Nick Fury, Helicarrier, Downtime, and Endurance. For Ghost Spider, 4-1, attack with 2/3 defense. Dizzying Reflexes as a response after you resolve an interrupt or responsibility on an event. Ready to Go Spider, limit once per phase. Hand size of 5, hit points of 10. Recovery of 3 as an action. Choose to either shuffle a ticket to the multiverse from your discard pile into your deck or Ready George Stacy, and that's the card I chose for her to get during setup. Her darts, alter ego action, spend a resource to place 3 dart counters here. After a hero attacks, remove a dart, deal 1 damage to up to 2 different enemies. And aspect card, we have 3 copies of Moxie. Then protection, 2 power protection, Nerves of Steel, Night Nurse, 2 sidesteps, 2 What Doesn't Kill Me, 3 jump flips, then Victor, Clea, Spider UK, Starhawk, and Silk. And basic cards, we have our 3 resources, Helicarrier, Web of Life and Destiny, 2 different versions of Spider-Man, Downtime, and Endurance. All right, here we go for the final battle, getting our encounter deck shuffled. 6 cards for each of our heroes. We've got 2 opportunities to mulligan. Then for Miles, going for the Genius, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And for her, ticket to the multiverse. Web Shooter, Mariah Hill. For Justice, Coulson, Power of Justice, and Arrows. I'm liking what I have there. And I think I'll just keep this. Go looking for our Genius. There we go. And for Gwen Stacy, getting her 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Starhawk, Spider UK, Phantom Flip, Spider-Man, a Moxie. Oh, definitely don't need the Moxie to start with. Phantom Flip would be nice, along with getting an ally out early. I hate pitching 2 allies to start with. 1, 2, 3. Ghost Kick, Silk, and Endurance. We'll mulligan one more time. Web Binding, Phantom Flip, and then we go looking for our ticket. So we're going to start with Maria Hill. 4-2, attack 1, 2 health. After she enters play, each player draws a card. So Homeland Intervention, and then a sidestep. Then we'll bring in Arrows. 4-2, attack 1, 2 health. After you're playing from your hand, confuse a minion for each mental resource you use to pay for him. Don't think those guys are going to survive long enough, but they're confused at the moment. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in Agent Coulson. 4-2, attack 1, 3 health. After he enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a preparation card and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So we'll go looking for our Spycraft. Then go ahead and flip over. We have Overkill along with Piercing. So hitting for 4 takes him out. 2 damage down to 30. And remove the counter from there. Then we're going to thwart for 2, 4, and 6. Then we'll bring in Starhawk. 4-1, attack for 2, 3 health. When he takes damage exactly equal to his remaining hit points, return him to your hand. Then use her ability to shuffle this back in. As something falls off my shelf. Then I'll thwart for 1 to get rid of the festering mess, which will take out one of these. I'm going to go ahead and flip over and attack for 2 to take care of him. Remove one of those tokens. Phantom flip. Hero response. After you use a basic power, move 5 threat from a scheme. And that's going to ready us. We'll attack for 2, down to 28. Then we're going to bring in Silk, thwart 1, attack at 1/2 health. After you play it from your hand, if you control another Web Warrior card, search the encounter deck for a treachery and discard it. And I'm sure everyone can guess what I'm going for. Let's see here. Shadow of the Past goes away for now. And thwart for 1. And end your turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Power protection, strength, jump flip, moxie, and web binding. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mr. Lee, a web shot, power within, strength, and homeland intervention. Oops. We get these 4. Forgot I had Spycraft in hand. All right, so this is the active, so it's going to get that one, so it gets 3. All the others get 2. Then attacking over here, Miss Heal defends for 1/2 damage. And then this is going to go there. We can either place 2 threat on it or resolve the special ability. Discard a card from your hand. And I don't want to, so we'll add 2 threat. Then attacking over here. And we're going to play web binding. Requirement is a mental. When an enemy would activate, cancel the activation. If it was a minion, it would take 4 damage. Then we'll get our encounter cards. Surge, found an arm cannon. Villain's attacks gain overkill and piercing. As a hero action, discard the highest cost upgrade you control to discard this card. And that's surged into. The villain attacks you. Give the villain an additional boost card for that activation. Eros is going to take this. Overkill and piercing. Never mind. We will just defend. So move the glider to the main scheme with the most threat. Place a threat on that scheme. We'll go ahead and move it over here. And place a threat on each main scheme without the glider counter. All right, let's see how that's working. So it attacked us for 2. We defended for 2. Oh, to hit us for 4. So we're taking 2 down to 7. Then over here, Symbiotic Berserker, scheme of 0, attack of 3, 5 health. While a symbiote environment is in play, gains quick strike. Then we'll pass first player. All right, so he's going to attack for 2. Then take exact damage, come back to her hand. Then we'll go ahead and play him again. And attack for 2 more. Then attacking for 2. Got no upgrade to get rid of. That's a problem. Down to 26. I'm going to play Power Within, which is a 1-cost upgrade. Doesn't really matter what it does. Discard the highest cost upgrade we control to discard this card. Then attacking for 1. Play Homeland Intervention. Exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. Choose a scheme. Remove 2 threat from that scheme for each card exhausted this way. So removing 4 threat from a scheme. Then we're going to do a web shot. Deal 4 damage to an enemy if you paid for this using an energy resource, which we're not. We got the Venom Blast, but we're doing 4 damage down to 22. And I think I'm going to flip over. I'm going to flip over. Throw the web shot back in here. Ending her turn. We're going to keep her strength. Clea, parental guidance. Power of aggression, and our punch. And over here, get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Web shot for justice, our defense mechanism, a swing in, double life, and quake. So this one gets 3. And the others get 2. All right, attacking over here. Silk is going to defend for base 2, 5. Then that's going to go down there. We're going to add 2 threat on it. Then scheming here for base 2, 5. And now this goes to this one. And we'll add 2 threat to it. And encounter cards. Worried Father. Let's see. When a card is revealed from the encounter deck, deal damage to the villain. It doesn't have anyone revealed effects. We're going to stop it. No, we can't stop it. So go looking for her father. He gets set aside, and we need to, has an alter ego action, exhaust Gwen to remove this obligation and put him in her hand. And over here, that has a one revealed. And we'll just stop that from surging. When a card is revealed from the encounter deck, deal damage to the villain equal to 1 more than the number of boosts, so it's going to deal 1 damage, and we will cancel the one revealed effects. So he'll take a damage and pass first player. All right, we're going to bring in Quake. 4/1, attack for 2 health. After minion schemes, exhaust Quake to deal 2 damage to that minion. Attacking for 2, down to 19. Then thwarting for 2, down here. We'll flip over and attack for 4, down to 15. And we'll do a web shot, deal 4 damage to an enemy if you paid for this card using an energy resource. Resolve his Venom Blast ability. So 4 damage takes him down to 11. Venom Blast, deal 2 damage and stun an enemy, down to 9. And halfway stunned. Over here, we're going to thwart for 1. We'll come back to her hand. Then we'll bring out Clea, thwart her 1, attack 1, 2 health. When she's defeated, shuffle her into her owner's deck. And thwart for 1. And we'll flip over and exhaust to remove this from the game and add George to her hand. And then bring him into play. Events attached to him may be played as if they were in your hand. As an action, exhaust him. Attached event from your hand face down here to a max of 3. And let me see here. Ender turn. Keeping Starhawk. Take it to the multiverse, Moxie, Sidestep, Victor, and a Ghost Kick. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mockingbird, Jefferson Davis, a double life, a web shooter, and a web shot. So 3 and then 2 on these. Breaking out the 5, so we've got 10, 10, and 9. Attacking over here, Quake defends for 1, 2, 3. All right, over there, we'll just move over here and put 2 threat on it. Then scheming here for base 2, 4. Okay, maybe that wasn't a good idea. And then move it to here and add 2 threat. And encounter cards. Symbiotic Thrall, Schema 1, attack of 2, 4 health, has guard, and while a symbiote environment is in play, gains patrol. And on this one, we're an alter ego, so gains surge. Into caught off guard, discard and upgrade your support you control. We tried so hard to get George in here. And pass first player. All right, we're going to play Starhawk. Seen him before. Use her ability to shuffle the ticket back in. Discard a card. Put 3 tokens or darts on here. Go ahead and flip over. We will attack for 2 over here, down to 7. Ghost Kick, I'm probably going too fast here, but we're going to deal 6 damage to an enemy. And ready. So down to 1. And then also after doing a hero attack, spin this to deal 1 damage to 2 different enemies. 1 there and 1 here. And see if this was a mistake going too early. All right, steady and toughness, schema 2, attack of 3. When revealed, deal 2 face down encounter cards to each player. That's not good. Claim the throne. After Venom Goblin activates against you, move the glider counter to the main scheme with the least threat and resolve its abilities. Now we don't have the option of the placing 2 threat on it. So 36 health. And tough. Oh, yes. And 2 of those, that's a problem. All right, so attacking for 2 here. Ability for 1 damage here, which will take care of that. And 1 over here to take care of tough. We're going to thwart for 1. We're going to bring in a web shooter. Gets 3 counters. Hero resource, exhaust it, and remove a web counter from it to generate a wild resource. Go ahead and use that. To bring in Mockingbird, after she enters play, stun an enemy. Thwart 1, attack 1, 3 health. So he is really stunned. Going to attack for 4, down to 32. Do I give up on something over here? 15. Thwart for 1. And ender turn. And hope we can survive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Energy, web bracelet. Take it to the multiverse, web of life and destiny, and a web bracelet, so nothing to respond to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. arachnobatics, a web shot, energy, under surveillance, and a spycraft. So we're getting 3 threat on this one and 2 on the others. So 16, 12, and 12. Goes to attack, lose stun. Goes to attack. We're going to let Clea defend. For base 3, resolve the special ability of the scheme with the glider counter, which is take 2 indirect damage. All that's happening over here. We'll put 1 there and 1 here. And then going away. Whoops. But shuffled into this one. Then this moves over here. Place a threat on each scheme. So 13. 15. And 17. And now encounter cards from you know where. Oh yes, actor the activation. So that's 13, 15. So it's staying here. Place a threat on each scheme again. 1, 1, and a bunch. All right, so we already added 1 over there. We add another one here. How bad can this be? Pretty bad. Keeping secrets. May flip to alter ego form. If we do, we can exhaust miles to keep this from the game, or discard some people that aren't here. We'll flip and exhaust to remove this from the game. We've changed this form. We're gonna do a web shot. Then attach to the villain. And attach to the villain. Gets 2 bomb counters. Force response. After the villain attacks you, remove a bomb counter to take 2 indirect damage, plus 1 attack. And over here, attached to your identity, oh, webbed up. When your hero would attack, man, that's going to slow us down. And I've got nothing to cancel that. That's terrible at this point of the game. Then the villain's going to scheme for base 1, 2, 3. This activation is attack. It deals indirect damage, so 6 threat, which will take this up to 20. So our big hitter is going to be stunned for 2 rounds. Oh, that was a scheme. And then we've got someone guarding us. All right, passing first player. We're going to bring in Spycraft. We control 2 spies. When you reveal an encounter card, discard Spycraft, cancel the effects of that card and discard it, then reveal another card from the encounter deck. Then we're going to flip over. Use a web shooter to attack, to lose webbed up and become stunned. Then we're going to do a web shot to lose the stunned. All right, we are pretty messed up over here. So if we don't take threat off of that, Coulson will thwart for 2. Mockingbird will thwart for 1. Starhawk will thwart for 1. Come back to her hand. Then we'll bring him back out and attack for 2. Bring in Web of Life and Destiny. Ignore this card's resource cost if our identity as a Web Warrior trait. Response: after a Web Warrior ally leaves play, choose a player. That player draws a card. Then we're going to bring in a Web Bracelet. Hero response: after you resolve an interrupt or responsibility on an event, Exalt says to draw a card. Might be too late for that. Then we're going to attack for 2, which will at least get rid of this. And ender turn. I'm going to pitch our other bracelet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got our Punch, Helicarrier, Spider-Man, Nurse of Steel, and a Night Nurse. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Webshot, Monica Chang, Arachnobatic, Surveillance Team, and a Nick Fury. All right, so 3 threat on this one. Back up to 20. 2 on that one. So 18, and 2 on this one. To 19. Attacking over here. Defending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8. Then 2 indirect damage. Down to 5. And then that's a 20, 18. So it's going here, take 2 indirect damage, down to 3. That's not good. Then attacking over here. We will defend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. So we're taking 4 down to 5. And then 2 indirect damage. Down to 3. And counter cards. Surge. Resolve the special ability of the scheme with the glider counter. Take 2 indirect damage, down to 1. What we're doing on that, wait a second here. Yeah, we'll go down to 1. Then attached to Venom Goblin. Hero action, spend 1 of each resource to discard this card. +3/+3, good grief. That's nasty. And then we have an Enraged Symbiote. Pass first player. Yeah, didn't know what was best to use that on. No, we're going to go ahead and use this. When that came out, when a card is revealed from the encounter deck, deal a damage to the villain equal to 1 more than the number of boost icons on the card, and then cancel the when revealed effects. There are no revealed effects. It will deal 1 damage. It will ready us and allow us to draw a card. Then we can attack for 2. And I think we've lost. We're going to bring in Clea. We'll thwart for 1. We will thwart for 1 more. He'll come back to her hand. We'll flip over. Let's see. Use her ability to put this in. And pitch him to put 3 counters here. And I need 1 of each resource, and I've got nothing but mentals. So we're going to bring in Nick Fury and draw 3 cards for Justice, swing in, and a Helicarrier. And thwart for 2. We've got 2 of the resources here. We'll use the web shooter for the other. And attack for 4. Down to 27. And we have to flip them at 1 health. Web shots, probably need a web swing in. All right, see if we make it past this turn. Swing in, another swing in, downtime, power of justice, and surveillance team, and an endurance. And over here, jump flip, ghost kick, we need a moxie. What doesn't kill me? Phantom flip, what doesn't kill me? And a jump flip. All right, we're getting 3 threats. 2 over here. And 2 on that one. So that goes to 22. Yep, and that's a game, I believe. When revealed, move the glider counter and each acceleration token from here to the main scheme with the least threat. So that's 19. They're both at 19. He's getting ready to scheme. And I don't think it matters. So scheming over here for 3, 6. And that's going to be the game. So yeah, I probably went way too quick flipping him over. Was not ready, but the damage was coming out and then I stalled. So that's how you lose at playing Venom Goblin. In the comments below, be sure to let me know how your first play went. Hopefully you made some better choices than I did, or if you used some better cards. As always, hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.